Julian Castro, former mayor of San Antonio, HUD Secretary under the Obama administration, released what's the word for it? What's the word they use now? He suspended his campaign. Yeah. Julián Castro is out. This announcement made today. A number of my people sent it to me to let me know. Julián Castro put out a video about his campaign, and I'll share it with you.
Me llamo Julián Castro. I am a candidate for President of the United States of America. The very fact that I can say that tonight shows the progress that we have made in this country. Like many of you, I know the promise of America. My grandmother came here when she was 7 years old as an immigrant from Mexico. And just 2 generations later, one of her grandsons is serving in the United States Congress, and the other one is running for President of the United States. We've been a little bit different from all the other campaigns. We've been speaking up for the most vulnerable folks in this country. People sleeping on the streets and in storm drainage tunnels in Las Vegas. Folks who are the victims of police brutality. We've been fighting for those who are often left out, cast aside, marginalized. Watching that image of Oscar and his daughter Valeria is heartbreaking. It should also piss us all off.
Each of our children can walk across the graduation stage, where kids like Trayvon can walk across their neighborhood in peace, and where Oscar and Valeria can walk to refuge. To all who have been inspired by our campaign, especially our young people, keep reaching for your dreams and keep fighting for what you believe in. Ganaremos un día.
So Mr. Castro, he is out of the race. He has suspended his campaign today. And Julian Castro is sort of an enigma in a way because he's very good at projecting, of carrying the mantle for progressive rhetoric. He's very good at that. And I'll be honest, one of the things I like about Julian Castro is that he can speak truth to power about issues that matter. You hear him being one of the most outspoken speakers about immigration reform. He understands the importance of decriminalizing people who are seeking refuge, those people who are fleeing, horrible situations. And so I applaud him on that point. I think we need to look at the policy on it, but I applaud him making that a part of the conversation and doing so in an authentic way. Also, Julian Castro had a way of articulating the struggles or the fight against police brutality. He could rattle off the names of black people that were gunned down by police. You hear him there talk about Trayvon Martin. He talked about Eric Garner. He talks about a number of issues. Tamir Rice, John Crawford. I mean, he just rattles them off as if he is intimately, Laquan McDonald, as if he is intimately acquainted with these situations. And I love that, and I think it matters that you have someone on the debate stage that can speak to that. And I think it was great that Julian Castro was up there and that he was voicing those issues. Julian Castro talked more about social issues than Kamala Harris and Cory Booker put together. So that's significant, and more so than any other candidate. Now, I understand that there's some people who trivialize these issues. They think these issues don't matter. They want to talk about other issues and other ways. I don't think that you galvanize or that you energize your base by overlooking domestic issues. Now, here's the thing. Though I love that Julian Castro, talked about these issues, I wouldn't vote for him. Julian Castro has a horrific record when it comes to housing. What we have to also look at is a person in context. I want him on the stage talking about these issues because they need to be part of the conversation in the psyche and force the issue. We want the conversation to be had. I want people to think about police brutality. I want them to think about poverty. I want them to think about immigration. I want us to think about these important issues. And I want somebody to be talking about it. But when it comes to Julian Castro, when he was HUD Secretary, he did not help these communities. In fact, he set up an initiative so that the homes that were foreclosed on back in 08, 09? Remember that? Remember all the people losing their homes? Who you think were the most people losing their homes? Black and brown people, particularly black people. Julian Castro developed an initiative so those homes would be sold off. Not to nonprofit organizations that could revamp them and reoffer them to those same people via programs for people with bad credit or credit that they took a hit during this financial crisis, but to Wall Street. That's right. Julian Castro has set up a program to have those homes that were foreclosed on. Not only did we not bail out, listen, not only was Julian Castro silent on his boss, Obama's bailout of Wall Street banks, but he created an initiative that let the banks buy the homes after they were foreclosed on. Some of them illegally foreclosed on. Julian Castro was on a short list for being Hillary Clinton's running mate. And why did that not happen? Why did Hillary end up with milquetoast Tim Kaine? Which is the biggest reason that's never talked about why she lost. Well, the reason why Julian Castro was not her VP was because so many organizations were pushing her back against Julian Castro. The Working Families Party was pushing back against him. The community, the Californians, the Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, the Action American Family Voices Color of Change, Courage Change Campaign, CPD Action, Move On, New York Communities for Change, the other 98%, Presente, Roots Action, Roots Strikers, they all signed petitions to thwart Castro because of Castro's record as head secretary, because of Castro's track record. Not because of his smile or his teeth, because of what he did. Not because of his rhetoric, his swarming, his zooming, soaring rhetoric, very Obama-esque, but his actions that were very much also very Obama-esque. So, I want to thank people who brought this to my attention, the depths of it. What is it, Jacobin Mag, that's one of the sources. Just looked that up. Julian Castro's early neoliberal years, which highlights Julian Castro all the way back to when he was just before he became mayor. Okay? Good stuff. A long write-up. It's important to note that Julian Castro did not start off as a neoliberal. He started off as a fighter for the people. He comes from a family of activists. His mom is a great activist. But something happened to Julian Castro. He changed. He changed and started conforming to what was needed for him to get ahead. And it becomes a double-edged sword. You got to bend in order to be let in the club, to be let in the door. He had to give a little. But what he was giving wasn't himself. He was giving away the needs of the people. Development deals that he made that helped, that he formerly was against, all of a sudden he was for, because it was politically expedient. And if he wanted to take the next step, he had to. That's what was needed for him, for him to get the money to run. So campaign finance reform, another big issue, another part of it. Julian Castro's not a millionaire. He's modest income for a person of his running in this race, I should say. There's no way he could fund his own campaign. So I'm not saying that Julian Castro should be thrown away. I'm saying when it was time to stand up, he should have stood up. He should have stood up. If Julian Castro would have stood up to Obama, if I could find just one time that he was like, Obama, we need to help the people, not these damn Wall Street bankers. We need to be bailing out Main Street, not Wall Street, man. What are you doing? You won't find a clip like that. It doesn't exist. And I know there's going to be people that say, Tim, it's not right to hold them to that standard. Screw you. That's the standard we got to hold people to. It's imperative that we hold our people to that. That's what we need to hold them to. And it's my job to hold them to that. I'm not a politician. I'm not here to politic. I'm here to spit truth. Okay? So, Julian Castro, I'm not saying cancel him. I'm saying I wish you stayed because you would have spoke truth to power on a couple of issues. But at the end of the day, luckily, unless you've had a change of heart, you would have had no opportunity to be anything other than a speaker. And that's all you should be until you learn to fight for the people. Now, I don't much care what your identity is if at the end of the day you're going to give us the same politics that's put us in this hole. We don't need that. We don't need it from you or anyone else.
I can just imagine being there with my wife Erica and our daughter Karina and my son Christian, getting ready to usher off Donald Trump and Melania Trump. They'll be getting ready to go to New York or to Mar-a-Lago or somewhere. The helicopter will be out in the distance, and just before he walks away, just as he's about to go, I'm going to tell him, adios. Thank you all very much. Thank you, South Carolina.